Okay, my mic is working. Hold on. Let me make sure my mic is working this time. Okay. Let me see comments. We have people in here. My mic should be working. I'm sending out some links. I assume my mic is working because it was working last time. Is it? No. Okay, yeah, it is. Okay, great. Yeah. I'm sending out some links because a lot of people actually requested for me to do this topic. And in fact, I was in a space with our brother, the Black Alpha Network. So you guys should definitely check him out if you guys don't know who he is and subscribe to his YouTube channel. He did a space with the co-host Rich. You guys should check him out on Twitter. And Kid Gravity Beyond, he has a YouTube channel. You guys should check that out. And we were discussing this topic. But it is something, as soon as it popped in like my head, I'm like, I definitely have to do a broadcast on this specific topic. Let me just send this last link out because people have not been getting my notifications for whatever reason. I mean, I'm not going to say for whatever reason, but we all know people have not been getting my notifications, and that's, that's fine. That it is what it is. I'm just going to start sending the links out. I might have to extend the intro song, but you guys like it anyway, so it's not that bad, right? It's not that bad. But come in. Who's the last person? Okay, there he is. Okay. If you guys want like personal links, hold on, let me put I'm still new to StreamYard. My Instagram and my Twitter is in the link, and the reason why you guys should be following me is because I post when I go live. I normally go live at 7. I went at 8. I plan to go at 8. Now it's like 8:15. So, that's it is what it is. But before we get into Black Lives Matter, I made a post about Ketanji Brown Jackson. For those of you guys who don't know, and salute to everybody in the chat, Nino Black, how you doing, brother? Jamal, how you doing, brother? I made a post about Ketanji Brown Jackson and how she is a Trojan horse. Let me explain that. Okay. Now, what we're used to is let me see, what's the best way to understand this? All Black people are not for the collective benefit of other Black people. And that is something that we've been fooled with for the longest time, because we've been sold, and this is kind of tradition, and this is why there are certain traditions that are good, and then there are certain traditions that we need to break away from. We need to break away from the tradition of, okay, I believe that if a Black person is in a position, that Black person is gonna kind of know what's up and is gonna look out for the other Black people in the room. We have that tradition because that's just a cultural thing. Every group of people do that. That's not anything new. And Black people do that too, but not when it comes to politics, not largely when it comes to politics like that. And we've been falling for this trick for years of representation. We act as if, okay, well, if a Black person gets in there, then as long as we're starting to get our foot in the door, when a Black person gets there, because we all subconsciously know, if you're in a position where you're like the only Black person, you kind of represent Black people. So you're going to do what you can. Excuse me. Sorry. You're going to do what you can to make Black people have a good look. you're going to do what you can to give black people, to look out for black people. And this goes into our foundational Black American culture, which is, I wanted to do a part 2 of the foundational Black American culture. It is coming up soon. I just got to get some details, got to get some other stuff out. But we've been falling for that for too long. We have been falling for that for too long. Now, it is our response. It's not our fault that we've been tricked, but it's our fault that we don't learn and adapt to that, because we fail for that. And our biggest trick is when we fail for that with 2 terms with Obama, thinking, okay, Obama, he's going to get in there. He's going to look out for us. Black people were the ones who broke records voting for him. Almost 100% of black people voted for him both times, supported him his entire term. He called black people thugs. Not one of the race soldiers that murdered black people went to prison for it. We have some of the most notorious on-camera murders of young black people, children, getting murdered, and Obama has done absolutely nothing. His hands are quote unquote tied behind his back. And we're giving Obama the benefit of the doubt. If you guys remember that, we can't constantly, well, Obama can't make jobs. Obama got to do this. Obama got to do that. I remember when Obama was getting the benefit of the doubt, like, okay, y'all just being hard on him because he's a black man. And then we start to see how Obama started to do a lot of tangible things to make the lives better of everybody else. I'm talking about the illegal aliens, the illegal immigrants. Illegal immigrants is technically like an oxymoron. But the illegals, right? He was able to get them benefits, specific benefits exclusively to them. He gave the European Jewish community in Israel money. He signed a Blue Lives Matter. When black people are talking about Black Lives Matter and protesting against police violence, he signed a Blue Lives Matter legislation in 2015. A lot of people don't know that because they don't really like to talk about that. He did that right before he left to kind of get good with the police. Okay. Obama lied about helping black people in Flint, Michigan. Obama has done things for white LGBT. Obama has done things for white feminists. He has done things for a whole bunch of other people, but he couldn't do anything for us. But we're told, well, Obama's black. So that was like a wake-up call. We're having black mayors. We have several black mayors who get on a public platform and they start wagging their finger at black people, saying that we're the problem. Remember Obama did that? He said that we were the problem. Obama has called us thugs before. He said things like we need to start eating healthy and stop eating leftover Popeyes. I don't know if you guys remember that. He said, oh, well, too many black people want to go, don't want to invest their money. They just want to buy 12-pound gold chains. Obama has said that. You don't have any other ethnic group of people who look at their own people and say the problem is you. No other group of people have ever done that whatsoever. You have never seen a Hispanic not president, but even a president, maybe in Mexico, but you've never seen like a Hispanic representative, a Hispanic mayor or anything say that Hispanics are the problem. Hispanics are the reason for their own problem. The problem is you. You've never seen an Asian mayor or Asian politician say that the problem is Asian people. But you see black politicians that say, hey, I'm black, I'm black, I'm black, so they can get in. They're so pro-black so they can get in. And then the second they get in, they say, you know what? Niggas are the problem. We're the problem. We need to pull ourselves up by our bootstraps. That's what we get when we support them. No other group of people get that. Okay, so we need to start learning. It's our responsibility to learn. That's been happening for many, many years. Obama should have been the last straw. Now, fortunately, the thing with Kamala Harris, she slipped by being the vice president, not the president. If we remember when Kamala Harris was running for president, she tried to run, I'm so black, I'm black, I'm black, I'm black. Let me tell you all, black people, genuine black people who was raised around other black people, who have connections with other black people, they don't have to put on a character of how black they are. There's, I mean, many different types of black people, but when we're trying to accomplish something, you don't have to put on this stereotype character of how black you are, how hood you are. Okay, if I was running for mayor, I wouldn't talk about, oh, what type of rap albums I listen to. No, I wouldn't talk about, yeah, I like my fried chicken like this. I like the are you a wings person or you a flats person? Well, I mean, are you a drums person or you a flats person? They wouldn't ask that. They don't ask when you saw Andrew Yang when he was running for the president, right? Did Andrew Yang get on the Breakfast Club and talk about how much he liked egg rolls, how much he liked orange chicken, how much he liked fried rice? He didn't stereotype his Asian up. When Hispanic politicians get on their platforms and they're running in their campaign, they don't stereotype their Hispanic up. They don't talk about tacos and salsa and sombreros. They don't talk about that. But when you have black people who are trying to get a specific position, they have to blacken it up. Why do they have to blacken it up? Because they're not really from the soil, okay? They're not really connected with black people. Because when you're connected with black people, you don't have to go around talking stereotypical black. Those types of people give the same vibe of the people who grew up all around white people, had all white friends, their favorite rappers probably Eminem, and now they think that they can use their melanin to get a position. So now they're trying to act like what they perceive black people to act like. So they're walking around wearing Timbs. They're listening to rap music. Okay. Kamala Harris is talking about she was smoking weed in college, listening to Snoop Dogg and Tupac, the Snoop Dogg and Tupac album, which doesn't line up because those albums weren't out when she was in college. So that was just a clear lie. But she's thinking, oh, well, niggas like rap. So let me just say I like some popular rappers. Yeah, I was smoking, listening to Tupac and, had some Jordans on and some hot sauce in this. And you know what I'm saying? Oh, yeah, with a gold chain on. I was eating chicken with my grills, I had a snapback turn to the stereotype is like they're wearing blackface because they don't have a real connection with black people. They don't. You guys know how much I care about black people, but I don't sit up here and act as if I'm something that I'm not. How I act on YouTube is how I act in real life. Everybody who has met me in real life knows this is exactly how I talk in real life. This is exactly how I think in real life. This is how I act in real life. I don't get on a platform. I don't get on social media and try to hood it up. I don't have to do that because you guys know I don't have to do that. With Ketanji Brown Jackson, one of the red flags is the white media talking about, oh my God, she's just so black. She is black, black, black. This is history in the making. This is black, 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 black. The first black, the first black, the first black. That is symbolism, okay? That is symbolism. That means that's not going to do anything for us, okay? When they were talking about putting not Kamala Harris, when they were talking about putting Harriet Tubman on the $20 bill, I personally have no problem with that. Put Harriet Tubman on the $20 bill. But they're talking about putting Harriet Tubman on the $20 bill before they're talking about giving us our reparations. They said giving us reparations, giving foundational Black Americans reparations is divisive and it would destroy America's economy, but we should put Harriet Tubman on a $20 bill. That's like saying, I'm going to put Harriet Tubman, a black icon, on a $20 bill, but I'm not going to allow you to have it. We're going to have white people who have more $20 bills than black people, but there's going to be a black face on the $20 bill. That's empty symbolism, okay? That's something that's not going to change your life. I just made a broadcast about Chicago, about how these people need tangibles. Okay. And not just Chicago, all over America and all over the world. But since we're talking about America, black people need tangibles. There are black people who are dropping out of school. There are black people who, need help paying bills. There's black people all over the world who need actual policies, who need actual tangibles. And what we have is, okay, well, let's put more black superheroes on the TV. Okay, well, let's put a black woman who has never said anything pro-black in her political career. The only thing pro-black is what other people are saying because she is a black person. You cannot give me a quote of her saying anything pro-black her entire career. But she's running on, I'm a black person. What is that supposed to mean? What is that supposed to mean? Okay. Family, come on. Would you guys hire somebody if you had a job? Let's say you had a teacher, right? Would you hire somebody to teach English who has never had any experience reading or teaching English at all before? They are known not to do that, but we're giving her this platform. I can see if she was a pro-black person, then okay, you can have my support. Just like Marcel. Marcel is a very black first person. He can have my support. But the thing is that you're not going to just get by off of looking like a black person. That's not enough, because we realize that all black people are not for black people. We realize there has always been black sellouts. There has always been black people who have betrayed black people. William O'Neill, who set up Fred Hampton to get murdered. You have black people in slavery who are snitching on the revolutions, the slave revolutions, to the damn white slave masters. They were snitching on anytime there was a revolution or somebody was planning on running away, they would go tell the damn slave masters so they would catch them. So you had snitches all throughout this history. So all black people, you can't just assume because somebody has dark skin means that they're going to do something for black people to benefit black people. We cannot assume that anymore. It's too late in the game. Okay. So we're seeing a whole bunch of people. And I really wanted to go off because I was getting mad looking at. I'm looking through my Instagram and I'm getting upset. I'm like, damn, what the hell? And then I'm thinking to myself, let me not say what I really want to say, but let me say something, because I gotta kind of shake them a little bit. I'm like, how long are you gonna fall for the same trick? How long? Okay, fool me once with Obama, shame on you. Fool me twice, which is Obama's second term, that's shame on me. Fool me 3 times, family, come on. How many times are we going to fall for the same trick? This is the same thing over and over and over again. These people have no track record in doing anything beneficial to black people at all. She doesn't even have a track record for doing anything beneficial to women. She's just a judge, but she's using, hey, I'm a black woman judge, so this is history. This is symbolism, okay? We have to understand that. What has Ketanji Brown said she's going to do? What is Ketanji Brown's character that we should be vouching for? Come on. We got to understand the trick. And let me let you guys know something else. One thing I've been saying for the longest, okay? Anytime you see white people, a large amount of white people co-signing a black person who just came out of nowhere, that black person is an agent. That black person means no good for black people. I see all the news talking about, oh my God, this is history. This is history, man. This is so great, man. I love it, man. She's a black woman, dude. This is history. They're saying that. Anytime you see a large, because white people do not support black people. Let's just be honest. White people really don't. White people have never supported. Now they pretend they like Dr. King now. They hated Dr. King's guts when he was alive. They hated Malcolm X's guts. They hated the Black Panthers. They hated Marcus Garvey. They hated Elijah Muhammad. They hated everybody who did anything or who stood for Black people. So you know, if a large amount, especially the media, is giving praise to a Black person, that means that that Black person is not good for Black people. That is the biggest sign. That's like the damn Nazis co-signing somebody. If you're co-signed by the damn Nazis, what makes you, why should look at who's co-signing you? Look who's saying they got your back. Look who's saying they approve of what you think. If they say that on a large level, when you're starting to see Black people in magazines and they're not being shamed or dragged in the magazines, they're getting put on a pedestal in a magazine, not for like being an entertainer, but they're getting put on a pedestal as this person is good for Black people. That means that that person is not good for Black people. They've been pulling this same trick for decades now. Fortunately, time will always weed out the fake. Okay, the real ones will always stand the test of time. Okay, just like Obama. Obama can't go anywhere now without Black people all like, hey, you didn't do nothing for us though. You did something for them all these years, but the only thing you gave us was a pull yourselves up by your bootstraps. Stop being thugs. Stop eating fried chicken. That's all you said to us. We didn't, you did something special for everybody else but us. Kamala Harris, ski wee. I'm not going to do anything I'm not going to do anything that is only going to benefit Black people. No, she said that in an interview. When she was asked about reparations, she said with energy, oh no, I will not do any, I'm not going to say I'm going to do anything to only benefit Black people. No. Asians say, hey, Black people are randomly pushing us in the street. Okay, let's give Asians a bunch of money. What? You got Black people literally being lynched and killed by I just gave you guys in my last broadcast a long list of Black people who are physically tortured by the police, and they're giving Asians money for being pushed in the streets, allegedly. But they're not going to do anything to benefit Black people. No, she won't do anything to benefit Black people. But we're supposed to have her back because she's melanated. No. Okay. Ketanji Brown Jackson. Okay. I don't know if you guys have remembered the story, but Ketanji Brown Jackson, when a lawsuit came to her, when racial discrimination lawsuit came at her, and she was the judge over a racial discrimination lawsuit, she signed against the Black people who are signing that lawsuit with the white corporation. Okay, but we're supposed to give her these props because she's a Black woman? No. Being a Black woman, being a Black man, that's not enough anymore. That should have never been enough. You have to have done something. Your paperwork must have shown that you deserve to be here. You deserve to represent us. You deserve for us to praise you, for us to put you on this pedestal, for us to cheer you on. You should deserve that. You don't just get to come in, hey guys, I got an afro, so just, vote for me. No, that's not enough. That is not enough. Man, I know I've been going off. Y'all been going off in this chat room. Shout out to everybody in here. Shout out to everybody. Let me see. I said Nino Black, Jamal, Tawana, I believe that's how you pronounce your name. Claudia. Let's see. McCoy, or yeah, you McCoy. Angelica, A Wired Sports, DSA. Shout out to every single last RW. Shout out to you. Shout out to every single person. RG Titan. Shout out to every single last one of y'all. Okay. Oh, that's the name of the thing. Thank you, Nino. Okay. Shout out to the mods. Nino's a mod. she sided with Lockheed Martin over black people. That's the name. The name kind of slipped my mind, but look that up. Don't even take my word for it. If you don't want to believe me, look that up. Look up when you get the chance. Lockheed Martin versus black people. Lockheed Martin v. black people or black something. Right? Look that up and see what you find. In Ketanji Brown Jackson sided with the white men over the black people. But you're saying, oh my God, she's black. Okay, so what? She's black. Okay? We got to learn this. We got to think ahead, people. We got to think ahead. Mistakes will be made, but we will learn from them. Okay? We will learn. Okay? I know we're not all at this one point yet, but we're all on this learning thing. I'm not even mad at y'all. It's not like y'all voted for her. I'm not even mad at y'all for being happy, because you're being tricked into thinking that this is a good thing. So of course you're going to be happy if you think it's a good thing, but it's not a good thing. Trust me, it's not. Okay? It's not a good thing. She's basically Clarence Thomas in a dress. Exactly. And we all know how bad Clarence Thomas is for us. Excuse me. Oh, Black Lives Matter, or BLM, was always COINTELPRO. D. Ray McKesson is an informant and a fraud. Oh, speaking of that segues me to the topic of tonight's video. I just had to get that out there. Okay? Now, for copyright things, this is NPR. I'm just going to play like a 5-minute thing where you guys can listen to NPR's news about $6 million home being bought by the quote unquote founder of Black Lives Matter. One of the quote unquote founders, because there's 3.
In Southern California. It was bought with donations made to the Black Lives Matter.
Hold on. Let me start it.
Are facing questions about the purchase of a $6 million home in Southern California. It was bought with donations made to the Black Lives Matter Global Network Foundation, also known as BLM-GNF. This transaction is raising questions about how the social justice organization is using donations. Sean Campbell wrote a story about the home that appeared in New York Magazine this week. He's an investigative journalist and adjunct professor at Columbia Journalism School and joins us now. Welcome.
Thanks for having me on, Elsa. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for being with us. So before we get into the story of this home purchase, can you just very quickly tell us the difference between Black Lives Matter and BLM-GNF?
So Black Lives Matter is the name for modern civil rights movement that we currently have. The Black Lives Matter Global Network Foundation is a separate autonomous entity that is run by various people and has its own connections. It's a bit of a problem that this organization has become associated as the name of Black Lives Matter when the two are totally separate. There's the movement, your local activists, and anyone who agrees with the statement that Black Lives Matter. And then there's this organization that's honestly been collecting the majority of the funds.
Okay, well, to give people an idea of the amount of money that this foundation, BLM-GNF, has collected, you say that they previously reported something like $90 million in donations in 2020 and spent about $30 million of that by February of 2021, this house being one of the purchases. When it comes to the $6 million house, like, what are leaders saying to justify why they spent so much money on it?
Yes, it's a very luxury property. So I can tell you the Global Network Foundation justified the purchase as a space where Black creatives could come and create their art and influence things for the movement. They also, in a memo that I obtained later, wanted to use the home as a safe house when people were feeling threatened or receiving death threats, other things. That was their justification for this.
Well, what do some local chapters of BLM think about these justifications? Like, have any of them made statements about this real estate deal?
So I can say I haven't seen any formal statements just yet, but leaders that I've spoken with some chapters, they're upset. They feel like these resources could have been put to better use. They could have been done more efficiently. I know Tory Russell in Ferguson, he's been working with Mike Brown Sr., who is father of the slain Mike Brown Jr., whose death sparked the protests in Ferguson in 2014, he's been struggling to get $1.2 million for a community center that would have the opportunity to provide safe housing or housing for some of the activists he's seen go homeless.
One of the leaders you say knew about this purchase is Patrice Cullors. She took to Instagram and she absolutely denies that she misused any funds. She wrote in part, quote, "I want to be clear. While I will always see myself as part of the BLM community, I am no longer in leadership and I am not a part of any decision-making processes within the foundation. I have never misappropriated funds." To be fair, is it possible that this house is exactly what BLM leaders say it is? It's a safe house that's also a space for Black creators.
To be fair, we could say that. I could also tell you that I know that the house is monitored by Patrice Cullors, his brother, and he is paid with BLM funds, and that they've been in regular contact with Patrice Cullors about the use of the property, while not having that same information available to other activists within the organization. Patrice wasn't just aware of the home, she used it. She used it for her own personal YouTube channel where she shot a number of videos, which we discuss in the publication, including conversations with Malia Abdullah and Alicia Garza on the patio of the property.
Well, on Twitter, you wrote, quote, "This one has been heartbreaking," and that Black Lives Matter is a statement of fact that is larger than one organization. Can you tell me why you felt the need to post those words?
Because it's true. The fact of the matter is, when I...
Okay. You guys pretty much, and that was just a clip from NPR because I didn't want to read an article because I don't want to take up too much time. I want to get to you guys' call-ins because some people said they wanted to call in and give an opinion on this. Let me tell you something, and I've said this with Black Lives Matter. This is the thing. We have to understand that our enemy is very, very complicated. Not complicated. Our enemy is very, very advanced, sophisticated, as Professor Black Truth would say. They think ahead. So what they do is they create an organization that poses as something that's going to be beneficial to Black people. Now, when you hear like the alt-right say that they don't like Black Lives Matter, they have a very different reason why they say they don't like Black Lives Matter than what I would say. When they say they don't like Black Lives Matter, they're just talking about the overall principle of Black people having a good life. That bothers them. They don't like that, okay? When I say I don't like the organization of Black Lives Matter, I don't like the quote unquote founders. I don't like the setup donation. I don't like, because it is a trademark. I don't like that trademark. I don't like that. Okay. Those are totally different things. So when I say it, don't think I'm a Donald Trump supporter or something, because I've already made videos exposing the racism of Donald Trump, starting from his damn KKK father all the way to his life as a president. So I'm not an alt-right. I'm not a Donald Trump supporter. I'm not none of that. But I know what the truth is. Real, recognize real. Okay? Black Lives Matter was started, quote unquote, because of police brutality. Police were killing Black people and getting away scot-free as if their life didn't matter. That's why Black Lives Matter. Now, when the hashtag first came out, everybody thought this was just a hashtag that it was like a rallying cry. That's what people thought it was. A lot of people didn't understand it was a whole funded organization. People did not know that at the time. People didn't know that this was a funded, trademarked organization. I just thought it was a rallying cry. A lot of Black people who are already like activists, who are already doing protests, who are already on the streets putting in work, they thought, okay, this is just a rallying cry. And since it's something that we see a large amount of Black people using, something that's getting a lot of traction, let's just use this. You know what I'm saying? Because it's easy to remember, it stands out, and it's getting a lot of traction. So let's use this. Now, the quote unquote founders of Black Lives Matter, they created this hashtag, which turned into like an organization thing against police brutality. That was the reason. It was trying to get the police punished for their crimes against black people. Okay. Now I'm gonna read you the original manifesto. I posted this on my Twitter. Okay, the Afro Lead on Twitter. So I'm gonna screen share and read you the original manifesto, and then we're gonna start talking about the because even before like I became like what you would call conscious like that, I kind of had a feeling about Black Lives Matter for a long time. Way before, I was all like, you know what, y'all making a lot of money, but I don't see you doing anything at all. And you're supposed to be an organization that benefits black people. You're supposed to be an organization that's at least like holding black people accountable, or holding police accountable. I mean, I don't really see y'all doing like too much of really anything except being at a photo shoot. Kinda. I mean, that's really all I see. And then selling merchandise. So even still, I had Black Lives Matter shirts, and I was like, okay, Black Lives Matter. I had that. I was tweeting that, and then I'm like, I don't know about this. And then as they went on, they stopped talking about police. They started talking about police less and less and less and less, which is why we're going to read the manifesto. But first, let me screen share so you guys can see it too. I hope you guys can see it. Let me see. Okay, you guys should be able to see it. Okay, cool. Okay, this is the manifesto right here. These letters are small, but I'm gonna read it to you guys. 4 years ago, what is now known as Black Lives Matter Global Network began to organize. It started as a chapter-based, member-led organization whose mission was to build local power and to hold on, let me zoom this in just a little bit. Okay, there we go. And to intervene with violence when violence was conflicted on black communities by the state and vigilantes. That means George Zimmerman, okay, and Kyle Rittenhouse. He was a little vigilante too. But okay, let's continue. In the years since, we've committed to struggling together and to imagining and creating a world free of anti-blackness, where every black person has the social, economic, and political power to thrive. This is where the print gets very small, so I'm going to read this off. Shout out to Torian Rain is in the house. Everybody, salute to Torian Rain. Black Lives Matter began as a call to action in response to state-sanctioned violence and anti-black racism. Our intention from the very beginning was to connect black people all over the world who have a shared desire for justice to act together in their communities. The impetus for that commitment was and still is a rampant and deliberate violence conflicted on us by the state. Enraged by the death of Trayvon Martin and the subsequent I can barely say that word. Okay, a subsequent acquittal of his killer, George Zimmerman, and inspired by a 31-day takeover by the Florida State Capitol by Power U and the Dreamers Defenders, we took to the streets. A year later, we set out together on the Black Lives Matter Freedom Ride of Ferguson, in search of justice for Mike Brown and all of those who have been torn apart by state-sanctioned violence and anti-black racism. Okay. Forever changed, we return home and begin building an infrastructure for Black Lives Matter Global Network, which even in its what is that word? Even if its infancy, has become a political home for many. So some of these words are I can barely even see these words, so I know you guys can't. Ferguson helped to catalyze a movement which will all help give life. Organizers who call this network home have outed have what does that say? Ousted. Okay, have ousted anti-black politicians who've won critical legislations to benefit black people's lives. Um, critical legislations to benefit black people's lives. What critical legislations have they done that benefited black people's lives? Okay. I can name you some critical legislations that has benefited Asians' lives. I can name you that. I can't name you any critical legislations that's benefited black people's lives due to Black Lives Matter, but okay. Um, we're right here. And change the terms of the debate on blackness around the world. Through movement and relationship building, we have also helped catalyze other movements and shifted culture with an eye towards the dangers impacted by anti-blackness. Here are the results of our collective efforts. The Black Lives Matter global network is as powerful as it is because of our membership, our partners, our supporters, our staff, and you. Our continued commitment to liberation for all black people means that you are continuing to work for our ancestors and fight for our collective freedoms because it is our duty. Every day we recommit to healing ourselves and each other and to co-creating alongside comrades, people, allies. That's that black and brown. When they were just talking about George Zimmerman, who is a brown man, and here they are in the next couple paragraphs talking about black and brown, comrades, allies, and family structure, which where each other feels seen, heard, and supported. We acknowledge, respect, celebration, differences, and commonalities. We work vigorously for freedom and justice for black people, and by extension, all people. Did they really all lives matter, Black Lives Matter, in their own manifesto? This is their own manifesto, and they all lives matter, Black Lives Matter. Now, when you go to any of these like Asian support group pages, when you go to these Jewish support group pages, when you go to these feminist support group pages, they don't talk about we want to do something for Asian, and extension all people. We want to do something for Jews, and extension all religions. We want to do something for women, and extension men too. They don't say that. But we have Black Lives Matter talking about we want to do something for black people and we do something extensively for everybody. What? Okay, let's continue. We intentionally build and nurture a beloved community that is bonded together through a beautiful struggle that is restorative, not depleting. Okay, we are unapologetically black in our positioning. In affirming that Black Lives Matter, we need not qualify our position. We love and desire freedom, justice for ourselves, and the prerequisite for wanting the same as others. Now, I'm gonna skip down a little bit where they talking like the anti-black. So all of this is on my Twitter. Okay, you can see all of this. Now, right here. Okay. Oh, well, we're pretty much down here. I might as well read the rest anyway. Okay. We see ourselves as a part of a global black family, and we are aware of the different ways we are impacted or privileged as black people who exist in parts of the world. Now, anytime they talk about privilege, anytime black people talk about privilege, who is automatically the bad guy in this? Now, they said this was pretty much founded off of Mike Brown, Trayvon Martin, black boys. I won't call them men. They were boys. They were children. Okay, young adults, right? They were founded off of this. And then in the same thing, they slip a little thing to say that the black men are the bad guys. We are guided by the fact that all Black Lives Matter, regardless of our actual perceived sexual identity, gender expression, economic status, ability, disability, religious beliefs or disbeliefs, immigration status, or location. What does this have to do with the police? Now, Have you seen them really talk about the police? They mentioned the police like what, once when they talked about Mike Brown, and then since then they have not. They could state sanctioned, okay, and as you see, they're not even talking about. They don't even really say the police specifically. Okay, we built a space that affirms Black women and the free and is free of sexism, misogyny, and environments in which men, they don't say white men, in which men are centered. We practice empathy. We engage comrades with the intent to learn about the connections with their context. We make our spaces family friendly, and enable parents to fully participate with their children. We dismantle the patriarchy practice that requires mothers to work double shifts so that they can mother in private, even as they participate in public justice work. What does that mean? Like there's listen, when they read stuff and they make it sound like, oh my god, this is just so deep, so profound. You have to actually, anything that's profound and deep makes sense. It says the patriarchy that requires mothers to work double shifts so they can be mothers in private as they practice public justice work. What does that mean? Because they say the patriarchy, when they're talking about the patriarchy, the white man's patriarchy, they're talking about how women, kind of don't get the same job opportunities as white men. They're talking about that. What is like what does that mean? They're mothers in private and they work public justice work. What? Huh? So is this implying that they want women to kind of be housewives? Because when they said that, now on other platforms they'll say that that's patriarchy, but then in this platform they're saying that working a double shift is patriarchy. Like, I don't know what does participating in public justice, what does public justice work? What does that mean? Okay, we disrupt the Western perceived nuclear family requirement by supporting each other as extended families in villages that collectively care for one another, especially our children, to the degree that mothers, parents, and children are comfortable. Just screw the fathers then. You don't see nothing about the dads. Nothing at all about the dads. They say, especially our children, to the degree that mothers, parents, and children are comfortable. Why did they say mothers, parents instead of mothers, fathers, and children? Why did they say that? Now, when they talk about we disrupt the Western nuclear family, what they call the Western nuclear family has existed way prior to the United States, way prior to the West. It's been all over the world since documented history of a man and a woman and a child. Okay, they're making it seem like that's just a Western thing. That's not just a Western thing. And if you guys remember the conversation that I had with Eric in that Twitter space about the LGBT, I'm all like, okay, if you personally say, I decide to have a different family structure, then that is what you decide to have, a different family structure. But don't try to disrupt the quote unquote nuclear family because you prefer to have a different family structure. Just go ahead and do that. You don't have to say the nuclear family is negative. See, that's what they're doing right here, saying the nuclear family is a negative thing. You can promote listen, I'm not a vegan, right? If I was, if even to say, if I was a vegan and I wanted to give you all of the benefits of being a vegan, I don't have to do that by saying by talking negatively against not being a vegan. Or even better, right? If I had a preference, okay, let's say my favorite color was red, for instance. I don't have to talk negatively against other colors. I don't have to say, you know what, red is great, blue is terrible, yellow is terrible, green sucks. You don't have to do that. You can just prefer red. You can just live your life like that. Why are you trying to disrupt the quote unquote nuclear black family, which has already been disrupted? We don't really have a solid foundation of nuclear black families. All statistics have shown this. Every other ethnic group has collectively has closer or a more established, more stable nuclear black family structure than the black community, because their nuclear family has not been attacked. Ours is the only one that's been attacked. You have Hispanics coming over here getting government assistance, okay? You don't see inspectors knocking on the door telling the Hispanic women, if we find out your man is living in the house, then we're going to strip you from government assistance. They're not doing that to illegals, but they did that to black citizens. So the nuclear family has been attacked only by black people. This is history, people. And they're sitting up there trying to disrupt the nuclear black family. For what reason? And what does this have to do with police? Okay. We foster a queer affirming network when we gather what we do with the intentions of freeing ourselves from the tight grip of heteronormativity thinking, or rather the belief that all in the world are heterosexual unless I think this is a typo. Or she, he. Okay, I get this. She, he, or they disclose otherwise. We culturally we cultivate an intergenerational and communal network free of ageism. We believe that all people, regardless of age, show up and participate to lead and learn. We embody the practice of justice, liberation, and peace in our engagement with one another. Okay. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Please, please, if you guys are liking this, leave a like. We need you to leave a like, please, and thank you, family. Thank you very much. If you feel so kind, my brothers and sisters. Okay. What was that? What was that? Okay. Okay. You know what? That's their manifesto. Let's just say, even as negative through their whole manifesto. Now, with the Black Panthers manifesto, if we want to go back to the Black Panthers manifesto, you can actually see what their agenda is and what they plan to do to benefit the community. All they're talking about in their manifesto is how much they're going to accept people and how much they want to just gather around and hold hands and hug, and how much they dislike something. They're not talking about things they're actually going to do. Go look up the Black Panthers manifesto and see the difference between a real manifesto that benefits black people and then something that just says, hey, we accept everybody over here. What? Okay. Now, with the Black Lives Matter, with them finessing the community, you had Kimberly Nicole Foster. Okay, and I put this on my thing. Let me screen share this. Here they go splaining. Here they go trying to come up with pathetic excuses. Hold on, let me take a sip. Water. The BLM stuff is complex because most of us would have no clue how to manage an organization that oversees millions of dollars. Running extremely small business is, frankly, too much for me. Really? 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 Okay. Complex? People donated to you and you didn't do anything. Not one single thing. Now I asked too, and I asked this for this reason. I asked on my Instagram and on my Twitter if you had 90 million, and we're just gonna cap it at 90 million. We know because Black Lives Matter is a brand, so all of the t-shirts, all of the merchandise, all of the hats, every time you see in the NFL, the FBA, not the FBA. Anytime you see in the NBA when they have Black Lives Matter jerseys and they have Black Lives Matter on the courts and all of this stuff, they get money off this stuff by the merchandise, by the fact that they get donations. We don't even know how many. We're just capping it at 90 million. And we've seen articles that say they've made billions of dollars, billions with a B, billions of dollars, right? Okay. But let's just cap it at 90 million. So I asked the question, I asked everybody, Freedom, what could you do? Just give me just anything off the top of your head. What could you do with $90 million to benefit Black people? Let's see. And I'm glad a lot of people had a lot of good things to say. There were some people who said some hating stuff, but most people had some very intelligent things that they had to say. Hold on. Okay. I'm just gonna read some of them. I haven't read through all of them, but I really like the idea. Let me see. Okay, hold on. I don't know. Can you guys see? Hold on, let me see. I think you guys can. I think you can. Okay. Anyway, hold on. Let me if I zoom it in like that. Okay. Grants for Black businesses and Black farmers, because we all know how Black farmers and Black businesses keep getting discriminated against. Okay. This one says, I haven't even seen this one. Buy a big tract of land, build a huge grocery store, hospitals, apartments surrounding everything, and build and bring in busloads of homeless people all across the state, clean it up, and offer them jobs and a place to stay, and they can become the labor force. You have hundreds of homeless Black people. You have Black people. Oh, shout out to Torian. Shout out to Torian Rain. With that $5 super chat. Y'all need to check out our brother Torian. Kimberly, Nicole Foster look like a hag that comes to you in your nightmare. She really does. She looks like a damn nightmare. Shout out to Torian for the $5 super chat. Brother, yes. I appreciate that. You know what? I never really did. Just a side note, hold on. I never really thought I was going to make any money off YouTube. Honestly, I never really did. But I just did it because I thought it was the right thing to do. And then when I saw that people could actually do that, I was all like, damn. Like, that might be me, but I'm not going to. I want to keep my intentions pure. So that's why I never like posted my Cash App like that. Because I don't want to start like drifting or pivoting for the money. Because this is, I mean, damn me. This is bigger than me. But shout out to Torian for that super chat. And check out Torian because he makes good content. He was on a few. I've been on his channel. He's been on my channel multiple times. Okay, but let's continue. Okay, great idea. Okay, for our communities with security, separate. Okay, we can do that. This one says, could have got with Dr. Claude Anderson with some powernomic strategies. Of course, that's a great idea. Spread out some of that 90 million between politics so we can become a protected class and the rest of the nation building, i.e. financial education, businesses, community development. Okay. And these people are not like professors or doctors who study. These are just people who off the top of their head, I asked them, with $90 million, what could you do? Off the top of their head, they can give me a laundry list of things that they would have done with $90 million. Give loan money to FBA who want to start their own business and build new high quality homes for low income FBA who truly need them. Okay. We are at such a shortage of housing homes. Okay. Build our towns, businesses, infrastructure, Point is to keep that money circulating within our community to add other money to it. Okay, we got so many great ideas. Create black towns with multiple black businesses, of course. Better schools, youth programs to teach kids skills. I mean, come on, 90 million. Imagine what you could have done with all this. Okay. They have locked us out of land grants, definitely land grants. We could have gotten land. We could have buy politicians, move the inner city youth to our farmlands, teach them self-efficiently, accurate history and worth, build from the ground up. Okay, at least donate 600K to Mason, Tennessee. Hashtag save Mason TN. Hashtag save Mason, Tennessee, to cover the debt owed. We could be doing that all across the nation to other places that's like Mason, Tennessee. The rest could have been my fault. The rest could have been allocated to black businesses, employing black people, doing business in the black community. Own some radio frequencies. Okay, we can own our own media network. Okay, radio, television, all of these things. National Home Program, all $90 million. We could have done this with half of $90 million. Give me a third. Give me just $30 million, and I could do so much on this list with $30 million alone. Okay. You don't even. I'm saying, give me $45 million, half. Give me half, and watch me change America with that. Watch me change things. Watch me create a trend that's gonna keep growing with 45 million. That's just half of what we know they got. Okay. Or our nonprofit coup, we fund and can do economic procedures like Black Panthers and stop letting Disney make and killing our culture. Reinvest in revenue generation for our projects owned by the black masses for black people. Tell me why the Black Panther Party didn't have a quarter of what Black Lives Matter was doing, but they were doing more to help black people on the daily basis than Black Lives Matter ever has. Starting breakfast programs, helping black people out with their finances, teaching black children. What has Black Lives Matter has done? I don't have a thing against a black organization that does something for black people, like the Black Panthers. They were doing something. Other black groups, they were doing something back in that time. Black Lives Matter is buying $6 million homes, and you got homeless black people. You got black people who are living paycheck to paycheck, trying to get by, just barely getting by, and because they have a good heart, they donate to something that they think is going to benefit black people, and you're pocketing the money, you're scamming black people, and you're buying $6 million homes. Okay. Schools with those simulators in them. Okay, those are pretty cool. Schools, we could have put schools all across America. How our schools are getting dropped by the day, closed down schools by the day. Okay, after school programs. There's so much. I'm not even going to be able to read all of this. Then this person right here there's always somebody who wants to be contrary for the sole sake of being contrary. Always somebody. Okay, let's look at him. What are some things that can be done to make 90 million? Future focused ? I believe this name is her name is Kazoku. How about answer the question? Thank you, sister. I hate when people send up their damn contrary for the sake of being contrary. I'm asking, what could we have done with 90 million in response to what Black Lives Matter has done? And then this person, well, what can we do to make 90 million? Dude, just answer why are you trying to be against? I hate when people unnecessarily try to be against the damn grain. What are you doing? You think you sounded smart? You think you're just so smart saying that? Okay. I'm going to read a few more. Use it to properly, you know what, as I'm doing that, let me actually invite I'm gonna put the link in so people can come up. We're gonna kind of do it like the call in. I'm gonna take like 1, maybe 2 at a time. So I'm gonna put the link in right here so you guys can, you guys can be getting yourself ready to come up, because I know some people said they had a couple words. I'm gonna pin it, so it's a pinned message. Okay, here we were. Okay, use it. Okay, you can see it. Use it to properly educate our children with knowledge of self and about culture, along with teaching them about financial freedom and how to become entrepreneurs. Also, building land in U.S., teaching them the blueprint of Cranceller Williams. I think that's get us out of here. Okay. Now he's made, let me read some other comments that I haven't made. Okay, look at this one. Locations for blacks to avoid, better schools, primarily mechanical engineering and architectural programs, housing. So far, that's the only thing I can think of at the moment. These people didn't really put too much thought into it. They just know off the top of their head things that could have been done. Okay. In some places, black people are told to leave their spouses to receive health benefits. That is insane. And is hidden from most people. Exactly. You get more benefits by being divorced or not having a spouse. Hispanics don't. They can receive the same benefits whether they're married or not married. You don't have somebody saying you can't get this because you're married. Hispanics don't even have to be citizens to get the benefits, but we got to be citizens, broke and unmarried. We got to have all of the classifications to get a little bit of government assistance, the government we built. And we got immigrants coming over here, illegals coming over here. They don't got to be married or damn it, speak English, and they can get more benefits than we do. Okay. Investment groups. Entrepreneur grants, not loans. Grants, not loans. Okay. That needs to be a hashtag. Grants, not loans. Okay. This one. Easy. Housing, agricultural investment, community greenhouse, and virtual farms and food deserts. Healthcare, urgent care, and trauma centers in the most underserved communities. Okay. Essential worker wage equity grants to make sure that the teachers and doctors are good. You want to know how little black teachers get paid? Okay. Do you know how much we need food, healthy, good food for people? Okay. How the healthcare, I just, in the video not too long ago, I just talked about how black women are 40% more likely to die of breast cancer than white women because of the anti-black racism in the medical field. Okay. STEM outreach programs, STEM outreach programs, properly funded community centers, grocery stores, and hot meal initiatives, business grants, investments into black news and media, prison to community re-entry programs. Okay, anything along those lines would have been better than what they did. And even you know what? I will even throw them a bone. If they did half of this stuff, I wouldn't have cared if they had a $60 million house. I personally wouldn't have cared if they did anything, but they didn't do anything at all. They didn't do anything, and they have the audacity to take the money and buy a damn luxury mansion. Okay. This will be the last one. Then we can get to some of the stuff. So much. Buy up land and create new cities, of course. Invest in black-owned businesses, startups, okay? And fund defund innocent black people facing life in prison, who can't afford a good lawyer, who are ignored. There are so many black people who unfortunately have to take plea deals. Excuse me. If for the people who want to call up, it is first come, first serve. It is first come, first serve. So you want to call up, just do that. The first people who call up are the first people who get to say what they have to say. But I'm doing this because I didn't do it Monday. I normally do it Monday. I have to do it once a week because I said I was going to do that. But out of all of the problems that we listed, and those are just a few, we have black businesses that are struggling. Okay, most black businesses, like I said, fail within the first few years. Okay, because they don't get the business and they don't get the grants, they don't get the loans, the low interest loans. You have black people who are struggling to pay their mortgage and to pay their rent because they don't get low interest mortgage rates. Okay, you have black people who are living paycheck to paycheck. They're a couple paychecks away from being homeless, damn near. Okay, you have black children who have a damn school to prison pipeline, who are dropping out of college, okay, who are committing crimes just to make ends meet. They go to school. They don't have the luxuries of after school programs or schools with nice swimming pools and well-funded teachers with low classrooms who can actually afford to teach and educate the teachers. Okay, a tutoring program. Okay, you can have done a thing where you paid for some black people to go to colleges. Okay, you could have set up health clinics for black people who have health issues, who might not have who non-insurance health clinics or low income health clinics, who might not have good insurance or any insurance, but they still need to have good health. You got black people who are getting evicted left and right because they can't afford to pay their rent. You got black people. There's black people struggling in every sense of the word. Black people struggling left and right. And you have $90 million, at least $90 million, and you have collectively decided to turn your back on the community. And then you don't even have the audacity to be humble with it. It's not like you hit it. It's like the most open thing in the world. It's like the most open thing in the world that you just finesse the community and you don't care. You do not care whatsoever. Okay? That is utterly shameful. That is utterly shameful. That's utterly shameful. But we have our brother, our young icon in here, Torian Rain. Torian, how you feeling, brother?
I'm feeling great. I'm glad that you were speaking on this topic. Glad that I was able to come up. At first, I didn't know if I was going to be able to come up because I was on another stream earlier, but I know that your lives, can go for a good period of time. Well, I know the spaces do anyway. But I'm glad that you are talking about this. And it's crazy because when I first learned about this, with their new mansion or whatever, I was thinking that it was from the old home that they had bought. Because I remember last year or maybe a couple of years ago, they had bought a home in California in a place called Topanga, California. I said Topanga. I said the only Topanga I know of is from Boy Meets World. I didn't even know that. I didn't even know a Topanga, California actually existed. And they bought a home out there. Then I heard that they had some real estate, I think somewhere in the Caribbean. Then, of course, I heard about the one that Patrice and her partner bought in Canada. Now we have this one that they got in Delaware. Delaware, they get some tax breaks out there, with no sales tax and whatnot. So I'm sure they probably have tax breaks elsewhere as well. I said, it doesn't surprise me in the least bit, but I do feel bad for the victims' families who did not get a dime of this money. I know that to me.
Hold on, there's a super chat. Shout out to Samuel Logan. Vocational apprenticeship programs, easily something you could have done with the money. So shout out to Logan. You can go ahead, Torian. Shout out to Logan. Shout out to Samuel Logan. Thank you, brother. Thank you. I appreciate you.
But I knew that Tamir Rice's mother, she went in on Patrice, I think it was last year, and she called her everything but a child of God, which I completely respect her for, because she, if you was a very biblical person, she definitely wouldn't be. And she, basically called her out on her BS, like, where's the money going? And then to try to sit up there and claim that you don't know where it's going, or we find out where it is going, and all types of stuff like that. And don't get me started on that George Foreman grill face as Kimberly Nicole Foster. I cannot stand her. I remember the first time I came across one of her videos and I looked at her thumbnail, I said, this will be the first and last time I have to look at her mug. My God. Have you ever seen anyone that has their makeup on fine and they still look like that. But anyway, uh, but yeah. Yeah, she was basically throwing interference for them, and I'm not even surprised that she did or anything like that. But one thing I also have to address is the coonstress, Candace Owens, because
Oh Lord.
she put out a video yesterday on her Instagram page, because I have her blocked on Twitter. I need to block her on Instagram too. But I came across it not because I went looking for it, but because somebody had posted it up in their story. And she put out a 6.5 minute video talking about that Black America, us, owes her an apology because of her calling out BLM and us calling her a race traitor and all types. I'm like, hold on, stop. We already knew BLM what they were on way before we even knew who a Candace Owens even was. See, that's just her big upping herself because her paymasters are doing it are forcing her to do that. Then what made it even worse is I started looking through the comment section, and that was worse than listening to the video. And I even listened to the whole video. I only listened to like the first minute, and that was way too much. You had people in there saying, "Oh my God, Candace, you were so right. I can't believe I fell for the trickery and all types of stuff like that." And they top it off with this: "Candace for president." I said, "Absolutely not."
Oh,
but then
no.
again, but that said, stranger things have happened because we had Trump for president for 4 years.
That's true.
So anything can happen. But
yeah,
no, absolutely not.
Let me make about the Trump for president. I was not into politics before, but somehow I actually had a nightmare that Trump won, and everybody's all like, "Oh, Trump's not gonna win," and I'm all like, "Trump could win possibly," just because of that nightmare I had. And then Trump won. I was all like, "Oh, maybe I don't know as much about politics as I thought I did." Because I, like, in a million years, I couldn't see, like, this dude is not a politician. So you're definitely right. Stranger things have happened. But continue, brother, please.
But yeah, yeah, she got up there, like I said, just like pumping her chest up, saying that we owe her an apology because she called out BLM for them being a con artist and a scam and everything like that. I'm like, Candace, we already knew what they were about way before you said anything. Thanks to Darren Sills, RIP to Darren Sills, we already knew what they were on at that time before we even knew who you were, and kind of wish we still didn't know who you were. And I made sure to put a tweet on my page, and I said, well, Candace, since you want to call stuff out, well, here we are to call you out. When are you going to pay back that money for that anti-Black racism you allegedly experienced when you was in college, and now want to come and follow up years later and saying that white supremacy isn't a thing? I'm telling you, it's a reason I call her the grifting princess, because she goes wherever the money flows. That's where she heads at. Because remember, at one time, she used to be a quote-unquote liberal. Now she can't stand him. Mm-hmm. At one point, she didn't like Trump. Now she's hanging off of his nutsack. She goes wherever the money is. That's how she operates. And look, and all you got to do is look at who she married. Don't look past the fact that the guy is clearly a PC man. Look at what his family is involved in or how they garnered their wealth. And that tells you all you need to know right there about her.
Exactly. She, I didn't even know about. I don't follow Candace Owens on any social media. I don't know why people ask me my opinion on Candace Owens, as if that's not an obvious thumbs down, and that's to say the least. But the fact that she has the audacity, knowing that she will swift between anything that benefits her, because she was like quote unquote pro Black. I don't even really like using that term, but she was pro Black when it benefited her. But now that being a Black Republican benefits her, now she's a Black Republican. Mm-hmm, so she doesn't even have a foundation. She's anything that benefits her at the time, that's what she is.
She's a political gypsy.
Exactly. Let's allow our speaker rise up. You can unmute yourself. I know you're kind of low. You're really low. Are you okay, well, just let us know. For anybody who wants to jump in the conversation, because I did want this to be like an open mic thing, kind of towards the end.
What
Um. Oh,
is
say
it?
say.
Is it
Yeah,
any?
yeah. Okay, you're louder now.
Yeah, but I want to say congratulations on getting 1,000 or over 1,000.
Oh,
You
thank you.
really surpassing. But yeah, I'm thinking like even bigger than just the 90 million. I'm thinking 90 million a year since 2015. You know what we could have did with that money too, because that's from just 1 year, right?
I believe that is from. I believe that was done in 2020. Um, they just said is gotten that much. I believe that
Just
that's
from the
just
tax
from one
return.
year, 1 or 2 years.
Yeah, and I'm like, what if they were getting like 80, 90 million a year since 2015, 2016? And what have they been doing with that money? We could have been doing hospitals, research into things that will actually benefit us and our health. Our own black-owned hospital studies to and our own genetic autonomy. You know, because what works for them doesn't always work for us either. And I'm just thinking of long-term things that could like investments that could affect the black community long term, not just short term. You know, instead of like the here and now too. But it's just so much we could have did, so much. Just a waste. But I feel like we can work towards that now. And the first step is I want to answer that question. The lady said, "What can we do to make $90 million in the future?" Get our reparations. That's how. You know, that's what we can do, and that'll greatly benefit us. So yeah.
Absolutely, 100%. That's why we need reparations. You
Oh,
know.
and I also wanted to say, you know me, I'm Cosmic Human on Twitter too.
Oh, Cosmic,
Yeah,
your
yeah,
voice
that's me.
sounded familiar.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
And I wanted to say this: how you know the celebrities, the black celebrities, don't care anything about us because they make this easily in a year, and they don't do half these things we're talking about
Hmm.
for the black community. If they really wanted to, all these billionaires, like they could have put up like 10% of their wealth and really change the community for the better. So, but they don't. They just, yeah, go ahead.
You know, um, first off, shout out and RIP to our brother Nipsey Hussle. I have so
Yeah,
much respect for that brother. Okay, because Nipsey Hussle did not at all have the money of Michael Jordan. He didn't have the money of one of these super big superstars who flaunt their money around, these big rappers who have cases of, first off, a lot of the rappers don't have the money they pretend to have, but then some of them do. He didn't have access to that. And Nipsey Hussle has done more with the limited money he has to benefit black people than anybody else. All of these politicians, all of it. So Nipsey Hussle actually has risen the standard of what a black person with access to um resources should be doing.
yeah, he
And you
has.
don't see these other celebrities doing that.
And the
Uh,
kicker to that is he wasn't even FBA.
he was half FBI, I heard, I think, right? Wasn't he half?
No, he no he's a Retrian.
Okay, I heard his mom or one of his parents were from America, but maybe I could be wrong. I thought Tariq said that or something.
Well, I know he's
But yeah, you
I
don't
know.
have to be.
Oh, okay, so yeah, I stand corrected. He was half, but I do remember one part, like one side of his family is from has Eritrean roots.
You're correct on that. Yeah. So yeah, and we could normalize that in the community. Black people coming over here to actually help us and invest in what we're doing here to help all black people, instead of just extracting and sending back to their homes where things aren't really progressing from them just doing that, from just surviving and getting by. Nothing has progressed in the last few decades from them coming over here sending funds back. It's just short term gains. So yeah. Yeah, it's just
Exactly.
all about the mindset, and if you're thinking long term over just short term.
Exactly. Absolutely. Tori, I don't think I asked you with the 90 million, what could you have, because our cosmic you brother Cosmic Human, you made a good point. And I knew that was gonna get a lot of responses, but I wanted to give a list because I don't want it to just come from me. I want it to come from like the soil. I consider you all like the grass, the soil. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, let me ask people. And there's been people on my Instagram who have answered, you know, they feel like you can, I just talked about Chicago, you can invest in the hoods of Chicago to kind of reform gang members, give them an opportunity, a way out. You know, you can develop skills. Torian, let me ask you, what with 90 million, just off the top of your head, what do you think could have been done with that money to benefit Black society?
That could have probably kickstarted off a new Black Wall Street. Like, or get some kind of like, you know, some land and put something on it, even if whatever is built on top of that land wasn't even owned by us entirely, at least the money from whatever is there in the property will still be going back to us. One thing I've learned is that we all are familiar with McDonald's. I call it McDeath for a reason. But McDonald's did not make all its bones off of just the establishment of McDonald's. It made its money off of the property and land that it sits on, as well as the other stuff that sits around it. That's how McDonald's made their first billion. Not off of their burgers and fries and McFlurries or whatever it is. It made its billions off of the land in which it sits on, the ownership, because I think that Ray Kroc was before he really got into owning, with the establishment of McDonald's, he was in real estate. So he knew how that worked. And that's how he made his billions, was on real estate. So that's where a portion of the 90 millions could have went, and not just have one little, Black Wall Street. You could have had one pop up in every corner and everywhere in between in the States. And who knows where that could have went beyond that. But before we go any further, let me give a shout out, and I'm going to keep giving this brother a shout out. Christian Smalls. This Black man made Amazon bend the knee and got their first labor union in Staten Island, New York. Out of 27 years Amazon been around, and they never had a labor union, which is why you always heard so many horror stories about the people working there. And here you had this Black man and some other people that was working with him did that. Like, that is unheard of. That's a historical thing. And unless you are in these spaces, or unless you are in the area of Staten Island and probably some other parts of New York, you will not know who he is or what he did. And that's by design. So I'm not surprised, that is, because I had to learn about him on the internet.
I finish your thought.
And I like the fact that he was able to do that even with a limited amount of resources and a little bit of help before he ended up getting, the word ended up spreading a little bit more. And that goes back to something I believe that Professor Black Truth was saying that Black people, we don't need allies like you think we do. You'll be amazed at what we can do when we come together and get on code, and what we can do for ourselves. Same thing with the lineage-based reparations out there in California. They didn't have to rely on any outside people to do that. It was FBA that was pushing that. Of course, they tried to push back by putting some non-FBA not only non-FBA, but non-Black people, period, on these panels. Mm-hmm. But as you can see, they pushed through, and now it's gone to the next step. And do you know how hard it was to even get past phase 1 just to get to phase 2? So that just shows right there that we have a lot of resilience, and we can get stuff done without having all these so-called allies. Because I'm going to be honest, a lot of these allies are nothing but fortresses that are in the way. But we always find a way to either get over it, around it, or push through it. Mm-hmm. And that's just I think I always like to say that's probably just our ancestors living vicariously through us. Whatever it is that they weren't able to succeed with, now we're taking on the heavy load, and we're going to finish what they started one way or another.
To piggyback, first off, shout out to Die Queen for the $20 super chat. Shout out to you, sister. Be one to you. All right. And if anybody would like to come up and speak, you guys can do so. Ebony May, another $20. Y'all gonna make it, man. Proud to see your channel growing. Keep up the good work, man. Shout out to the sisters out here representing, man. If you guys want to come up and speak, you can feel free to do so. The link is at the top of the thing. But let me ask you guys: have you guys noticed? Because I have. Have you guys noticed that the black people who are actually accomplishing things, are not the black people who get millions of dollars in donations? The black people who are getting these millions of dollars in donations and are on the magazines and are in the news and the Cadillac commercials, they haven't actually done anything. You can't look back and say that's a win they have. You can't see it. But the black people like I forgot his name. I forgot our brother's name.
Nipsey.
No, not Nipsey. Torian, what was his name?
Christian Smalls.
Christian Smalls. The brothers like Christian Smalls, he doesn't have access to millions of dollars, and he was able to do something that people couldn't even think could be done. He was able to do that just off of his sheer will and saying, I'm gonna find a way to do it. Nipsey, he didn't have access to $90 million, but he was all like, hey, I'm gonna do what I can do and I'm gonna get it done. And you have people who have access to 90 million, at least $90 million, and they're not doing anything. They're not doing anything at all with the money. Have you guys noticed that? Because I have.
Yeah. But one person I can say that is who has access to way more than $90 million is Robert F. Smith. Now, I've talked about him a lot on my channel, and he has like a net worth of like $6.5 billion, probably more than that. Honestly, that's just what Forbes is reporting, but Forbes can be off. He was the one that back in 2019 paid off the student loan debt for the graduating class and the student loan debt of the parents or guardians of those graduates. And that's pretty much how a lot of black people came to know him, but I had learned about him way before. But one thing that I like about Robert F. Smith is that a lot of any type of contribution that he makes monetary wise, he always makes sure that he goes to the black community first, because he just recently did something. I'm gonna see if I can pull it up on my Instagram, because I definitely follow him on Instagram, and it's something he just recently did on his page. And I think it was he created a mobile prostate cancer screening for black men who have prostate cancer. He actually created like a mobile system where black men, if they can't get access to get to a doctor or something like that, they can get a free screening at mobile sites for prostate cancer.
Hold on. Shout out to Tell It Like It Is. Oh, I like that name. Tell It Like It Is. These so-called allies are bottom feeders. Absolutely. We keep going. Just shout out to Tell It Like It Is for the super chat, the $20 super chat. Thank you. Shout out to everybody for the super chat. Y'all, man.
You can do Cash App so you can get all the money.
I do need to put my Cash App in there. I do need to damn, how do I do that?
Is it Afro Elite?
On Cash App, it's Afro Elite 10 actually. $ Afro Elite 10 on Cash App. Right. I mean, I might as well, if I'm going to be getting the super chats, then might as well do the Cash App. Let me put that. Keep going. Let me do this and you keep talking. I don't want you to get forget what you're
and also shout out to RG Titan 901 in the chat, because he did put something in there that I talked about about a month or two ago about Robert F. Smith, the NFL, because you had Roger Goodell that was trying to convince him to buy the Denver Broncos, and that was that whole thing with the black coach down in Miami, that whole thing that was going on. I'm glad he didn't do it either, because I said at the time, for him to have purchased a NFL team, that would have probably brought his stock down. And this is a guy who is a straight up and down businessman. He knows what works for his business and his brand and what doesn't. And he knows that the NFL or owning any type of sports team would put a dent in his brand. And he appears to be a rather private guy. He'll make appearances here and there, but he's not a public figure. Like, people know who he is, but he's not out there. And to have to own a team, he would have to then give up probably a portion of his private life because of that. So, like I said, he's a very smart businessman. He knows what he puts his money into. But like I said, a lot of the endeavors that he comes up with, he definitely is putting black people first, which is something I've seen quite often from him.
Absolutely. Before you continue, shout out to LT Soul for this for the Cash App. Is that you? Rise up, that's you. That's you.
Yeah, yeah, that's me.
That's
YouTube
you,
is
brother. Okay.
different,
Shout
so
out to you, bro.
yeah, no problem. And and there was something that came to mind when y'all talking about the celebrities and what they're not doing over here. It was so interesting because Oprah and Beyonce and Jay Z came to mind because I know they went to Africa doing all kind of stuff while Flint, Michigan is still suffering. Other various black towns don't have running water, but they built up infrastructures over in Africa and different places in schools. Some say for unsultry, not the best reasons, but yeah, they did that for those other countries and those other people, but they can't do it over here. I just wanted to mention that too.
Exactly. Exactly. I did, Torian brother. I didn't mean to cut you off, but when they come up, you got to give them the shout outs.
Oh yeah, listen, I already know. I already know. I'm not new to this, but yeah, that was pretty much all I had to say for right now.
If anybody else would like to come up, let me post it in the chat another time. But if anybody else would like to come up and add to what these two respectable brothers are saying, you can feel free to do so. We won't be here like all night. Now we won't be here all night, but you're making a great point. We're listing black people who have actually done things to benefit black society. Like I said, the other day when I made a post about what's his name, Willie Wilson. Okay, he's a black person, politician, who donated to different gas stations in Chicago because the gas prices are so high right now that they get to come in. He donated like at first it was 200,000, then it was 1 million to different gas stations, so people get to just get free gas, like $50 worth of free gas. I mean, anything at all that can help anybody. Paying for somebody's student loans. Okay, you got black people struggling for the rest of their life to pay for student loans, paying for their student loans, doing like anything. I would not be mad if they're living in a nice house. Like, for instance, Tariq, right? People get upset that Tariq lives in a nice house. Oh, well, he lives in a nice house. But Tariq has done things for black people to benefit black people. He has done things to benefit black people individually. He has done things to benefit black society. He's bailed people out of jail. He has funded black businesses, given free promotion to black businesses. He constantly promotes black businesses. He's paid for funerals. He's paid for legal representation. He's done a lot of things. So I don't have a problem at all that he has a nice house. Good for him, because he's earned it, in my opinion. Okay, Jason Black too, bailing people out, putting up billboards. You know, I know he's a more private person, but I'm sure he lives in a nice house, and that's good for him too. I don't have a problem with you having nice things. You have a nice car, you have a nice house. I don't have a problem with that. Tori, I think you deserve a nice, I don't know what your house looks like, but a nice house and a nice car. You too, Rise Up, you deserve that too. You if you're doing a good thing, you deserve, what comes around goes around. You deserve that. But I have an issue when you are taking the money and finessing people, and you're using that and pocketing the money for yourself, and you're not doing anything to help the people who are giving you money. That
Well
is
put,
what I have a problem with.
yeah, just like the pastors, like a lot of these pastors in the churches that have big houses, but they don't do anything. Um, Also, a community, a part of our community, the Nation of Islam, all that they've done with limited resources too. We could have that money can go to drug rehabilitation and so many things, getting so many people off the streets and off drugs and so many things. So Yeah, that's true. If you're doing the right thing, why not? You know?
Mm-hmm.
The most basic thing that people can do, and some can't even do that, is support a black-owned business. Like that's the most basic thing you can do because that doesn't cost much. Like a lot of the stuff that a lot of people are doing, like like you mentioned Robert F. Smith. Of course, that's going to take a lot of money to do, but he has the capital to do that a few times over. But if you're just like a person that's like living, paycheck to paycheck, or like the everyday person, supporting a black-owned business is the least you could actually do. It's the most basic thing you can do. That's why myself and others had to go in on Jim Jones when he got upset because they didn't serve him and he stayed in that Gucci store for 2 hours. And then to come out like a few years ago, when Gucci had put out some racist stuff and you tried to brush it off and you were so shocked and so upset and appalled that they didn't serve you and your crew for 2 hours. First off, you are an idiot to stay around in a Gucci store for 2 hours after they have not served you or even paid attention to you. You are a dummy for doing that. And then we're like, well, you could have went to a black-owned business. It may not have been Gucci, but I'm sure they would have served you in less than 2 hours. But see, the thing is, you have, unfortunately, a lot of people, a lot of black people who will sit up there and complain about the quote unquote bad service that they get in a black owned business, but then they'll go to a Gucci store or any one of these high end European stores and get treated with the utmost disrespect and then want to get on their platform, on their soapbox and cry about it like we're supposed to give a damn. Because I don't. I really don't. I didn't feel bad for Jim Jones. I found it funny. I found it hilarious that you have a person right here who I don't know what he has, and I really don't care because I'm not a pocket watcher. But I'm sure he has more than I do. Like literally get online and complain about him being in the store for 2 hours looking for sympathy. And if you looked at the comment section under his Instagram video, it was nobody under there that felt bad for him. Nobody. They all laughed at him. They clowned him. And it was like, first, like, why are you in that store for 2 hours? Like, leave. Like, okay, if they're being discriminatory to you, just file a claim that they're being discriminatory to you and leave. You actually stood there for 2 hours. That's what made people really go in on him. You stayed in that store for 2 hours and then tried to throw the blame on the black employees. That was the kicker right there. It was a whole bunch of non-black employees there, but he wants to go in on the black employees, which was like one or two of them that was there, and try to make it seem like it was their fault. No,
Oh, I
sir,
didn't know
it was
about
your
that.
fault. You
I
idiot.
didn't even know about that part. I know he stood in a Gucci store and they discriminated against him. Before I go, shout out to Joanne for her Cash App. Thank you. She says, thank you for all of your teachings. I will continue to do that. Sister, be one to you and shout out to you. I didn't even know that part that he goes, and I hate when they go off on the employees. Like they're just trying to do a job. Like, why do you go off if you have a problem with management? First off, I don't own anything Gucci. In my opinion,
me neither.
Gucci, first off, is overrated as hell. It doesn't really look that good in my personal opinion. The colors don't really match that well, and it doesn't really look that good. People just wear it because they know it's Gucci. But I'm all like, it's not like they look that good. And these same people wouldn't be caught dead wearing a black design. A black-owned designer brand, they wouldn't be caught dead. They would rather be out there. I don't know if you guys have watched Game of Thrones, where where Cersei had to do the public walk of shame, but
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
They would rather do that than put on some black-owned clothing. And we got black people who are tripping for 2 hours for Gucci. Come on.
And I don't know if you, and I saw the movie. I don't know if you ever saw the movie that came out last year called House of Gucci. I said if black people, all of
it, but
you saw some of it,
a little bit, like YouTube clips.
Okay. If you get a chance, watch it. It's actually like a pretty decent movie. But if black people actually sat down and watched that movie it would completely change their whole perspective about Gucci. It probably would actually make them not want to buy it anymore because, man, when I tell you that family was full of backstabbing, greedy Italians, like you're talking about a wife who got so mad at her ex-husband for leaving her because he was no longer in love with her, and out of pure jealousy, she had him assassinated. Like the head of Gucci, like, and the thing is, that's the story with a lot of these designers because the same thing happened with Versace. He was murdered in front of his home and down in Miami. And but a lot of people going out there buying Versace, they dying for that Versace and a whole bunch of other stuff. So
Oh,
it's like
no,
it's like if people really knew the story, then they would not support a lot of these European brands like that.
Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely. And then
I think funds need to go to a coon rehab too.
yeah. What and where is our sense of black? And this is why I definitely got to make our FBA is the culture too, because we make things popular. We make things the style.
Facts.
Things become the style because we represent it. I remember at a certain point in time, Jordans was not like a big thing. It was only really black people who was rocking Jordans. Now because black people have made Jordans cool, everybody wants to wear Jordans now. The same way with like Timbs and different jackets and the grill and everything we do it with such a swag. We do it with such a style and a class that everybody wants to do it. The people looking at Gucci because you see these black celebrities do that. If you guys could take that same energy and put that in a black owned design, you can make a luxury black owned design that doesn't discriminate against black people, that doesn't have the notorious evilness behind its history. We if we could do that just collectively, if we say, you know what, these are the 3 or 4 black designers that we're going to make our luxury thing, you know what I'm saying, from a grassroots level, that's I promise you that's going to be the next biggest thing. If we say, you know what, instead of Gucci, let's not, I don't know, let's do some I don't know, another design. I'm not like a designer person, but let's do another thing. And instead of the Gucci bag, we're buying the black owned Gucci bag, so to speak, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's gonna be when people see the black owned Gucci bag and they see black people dressing up with their black owned Gucci bag, that's gonna become what's hot. Everything, I swear, everything in America, every fashion thing in America that stands the test of time has only done that because we say it's cool. And the second we say, no, this is lame, it goes away. It drops.
Exactly.
Just like slang. That's why we are like the head when it comes to language. When we say something is cool, when it's slang to us, it's cool. When we drop it, then it's okay. That's yesterday's slang.
Mm-hmm.
That because we can do that, and we need to do that. And I wish our celebrities would get on code with that.
Mm-hmm.
One thing I want to ask you, if we did do that, I feel like they don't even try to put up roadblocks from us doing that kind of thing, when it's making them money. But if we start doing it to make us money, I feel like they'll try to, because we have so many inventions that we created that people use around the world that they try their hardest to take credit from, to profit from, and try to bury us under it. So, what kind of roadblocks do you think they'll put up if we start doing that to support our community? So money's coming to our community. I think they won't just let it happen like they let us, popularize Gucci and all these white owned businesses.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, in my opinion, what they're gonna do is something that they've been doing, something that they're known for doing. The second we come out with something and it starts getting traction, they're gonna have a white celebrity come out with damn near the exact same thing and say this is mine, and they're gonna rip it, they're gonna kind of culture vulture whatever we do. Everything they do, they try to put a tiny little spin on it to say this is my thing, and then they're gonna culture vulture. That's what they're gonna do. What we can do is we can say, because they can't make us support Gucci or Versace or any of these other. They can't force us to do that. What we can do is we can say, I don't care if a white person is selling like red bottoms, if a white person has the same red bottom design, I'm buying it from a black person. And we can just do that because they can't make us buy the luxury designs. What they will do is they'll say anything that's hip, anything that's they see is starting to become a trend in black society, they try to get ahead of it and say, oh, look at this celebrity buying it from this rich white person, and then we gravitate to them. We got to stay in the grassroots with it.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And like one thing I've been doing lately, like, because like with me getting ready to go on my trip, like, and I'm like buying like certain things, I try to support as many black owned businesses as possible. So what I started to do is, like, whenever I buy something, I'll post it on my community page so people can see what it is. And also that's like free promotion for the business as well. And I already did it twice. One with a pair of shoes that I bought and another with a shirt. I'm waiting for a couple of more items in because I did order some other shoes that, while being manufactured in Italy, the design, it was actually created by an FBA black man who's also here on YouTube that does the same type of commentaries that we do. And he designed a whole shoe. And when I saw him, I said, I'm going to get those shoes one day. I just don't know when I'm going to get them because I would like to have a purpose when me buying them. And I said, oh, perfect. My trip is coming up. This will be the perfect time to do it. And it's also another company that I ordered some joggers, a snapback, and a shirt from a company. The brand is called The Black Man Can, and I love their Instagram page. Like, they just show a lot of positive imagery of black men, especially in a world that hates black men's guts. It's refreshing to see something like that. So, that's me promoting black-owned businesses the way that I did. And actually, one comment kind of like took me aback when I saw it. When I had posted something, they said, wow, like, they was like, Torian, I know that you you talked about black owned businesses sometimes on your channel, but I didn't know you actually supported them too. I said, yeah, like if there's a black owned restaurant or anything like that, I make sure to post it up on my channel so you can be aware of what the place is. It might be in your area, or maybe if you visiting, you could support it, or if it's any kind of clothing brand that black people have. And I posted up and posted a link so you can go and buy something from them and, help support them, because we don't have the capital to put our stuff in a commercial to advertise so people can see it. So we have to be the advertisers. Like, we have to be the commercial, and we can't do it and expect to get paid. Like, do it because you want them to get the support. And, who knows where that can go down the line.
Absolutely.
I agree. That's something free that we all can do. Just share a black-owned business like for free, pro bono, that we've been to, and I do the same thing on my Instagram.
I do
But
too.
yeah,
That's see, and it starts as a grassroots thing. You know what I'm saying? I've gone to different, even if you don't spend a lot of money, just the advertisement recognition can help the business. Like, if I might just go to one business and I say, just give me a lemonade, just give me a medium-sized lemonade, and then I'll say, okay, this is where I got it from. Y'all support this business. And then the people on my Instagram or your Snapchat or whatever social media you prefer to use, they see that, they're like, oh, okay, well, let me get a lemonade from there. If he likes it, I'm gonna check it out and see. And you have the word of mouth is a very powerful form of advertisement. It's actually the most powerful form of advertisement, and that costs nothing for us to do. And these businesses are struggling, like Torian said, because they don't get the access to put their stuff on a commercial or on a radio advertisement or a billboard. And it's so hard for them to do that. And advertisement is such a big thing. All businesses need advertisement. McDonald's, as many billions as they make, they still have commercials. All these places still have commercials because all these businesses still need advertisement like that. And especially for the smaller ones. It doesn't take anything at all for you to take a picture and tag the location of the store or the restaurant or whatever. Or even if you don't live next to one, you can buy a black-owned business like shirt or like Torian says shoes, which those shoes are tight. I'm gonna have to get those shoes.
Oh, you
I'm gonna
think
have
that?
to get
Oh,
those
so you think
shoes.
those shoes? You think those shoes are something? Wait till you see the ones that I'm talking about. That's like being imported all the way from overseas, which I'm definitely keeping a track of. They said that it's probably going to be at least by the 12th. I cannot wait to post the pictures of those because I've been hyping people up about them shoes, and they are ready to see them. So I can't wait to get them so people can see them because it's like the design is so nice. Like if I didn't tell you that wasn't a Nike shoe, you would swear that it was even before if you had a chance to see if the swoosh was there, the swoosh logo was there. Like it's a really nice looking shoe, and I cannot wait to get it.
Yeah. And then you take that and you post that on your social media, which has a good following, and you don't say, well, if I post this on my social media, I'm gonna need this percent of whatever increase you're gonna get from my advertisement. We like, come on. It's us as a community working together to help other people in the community. Because once he makes those shoes, let's say he gets enough business, now he can hire somebody else to assist him. Now he can make more shoes. He can open up another location. Now he can do like he can make shoes in different, maybe the delivery is faster, or you producing more shoes at a time. You know what I'm saying? Or he can afford more
Franchises, yeah.
advertisement. Like this, it's up to us. It is up to us to support each other. It is up to us. Like the money you guys are giving me on the Snapchat and the super chat, I promise you, and you will see that I will take that and I will reinvest that in the community. Okay. You still got the Mason, Tennessee thing. You got Marcel Dixon's campaign. You have other black businesses. I will show you how money should be spent with black people. Okay, that's because it's up to us to work for us and help each other. We all we got. We are all we have.
And
Another
just
example.
like while we
Go
can
ahead.
share those businesses, we can share your page. Everybody, please share this video too, so we can
Mhm.
spread the message. That's how we can help these up and coming YouTube platforms that's really speaking for the people.
And also, like you can be a walking billboard. Like for example, whenever I go to get my hair braided or done or whatever you want to call it, I always take a picture or a video of me showing the design or whatever I got in my head done by the person who did it. Then I make sure to tag the person who did my hair. Now, here's the interesting thing about it. The person I go to get my hair done by, I've been getting it done by her since 2017 consistently. Like I'm like a loyal customer. And one thing I can say that I love is that about being a guy is that we are their cheapest clients. Because women, they not spending less than $100, no matter
Oh,
what they get done to their head. They $100 or more for some, probably 150. So luckily for me, what I get is less than $100, no matter what it is that I'm getting. Because clearly I'm not going to put like any like installments in my head and nothing like that. But she's a black woman who does as a matter of fact, we're the same age. She's married, has a daughter, and she does my hair. Now here's the interesting thing. The person who owns the salon in which she works at is a black man. Shocking, isn't it? A
yeah,
black man owns a salon where every person who works there, with the exception of one, is a female, and all of them are black females. The only one that's there who's not a woman is a guy, but he cuts hair, and he's on like the other side of the building. He's still in there, but he's on the other side, and that's a black man too. And get this, that shop that he owns is not the only one. He owns about 4 or 5 of them. And then he has a shop that's on the side of the building that sells hair. So the women don't have to go to an Asian-owned store to buy their weave. They can go and get it from the shop right next door to the shop and walk right into their appointment. They ain't got it's like a one-stop shop. I tell you, the guy got his bases covered.
Shout out to that man. Shout out to every single black person who's like doing stuff like that, because in the today's world, and not just today's age, but in this world, that's difficult to do, and he's doing it and he's doing a high quality job, which is why I've always hated the narrative. Well, black people, you know, everything, because we've always had this stereotype of every business we have is just low quality. We're always late. We don't do a good job. We charge too much. It's just our we're just right here, and everybody else is right here. But we have black people who go above and beyond, and they do great work. They do excellent work. Okay, professional work, and they don't charge you know, an arm and a leg.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you ask me, Gucci charges way too much for their products. They charge Gucci, Versace, all these luxury brands charge way. Do you guys honestly understand how cheap it is for them to? If you guys had any idea how cheap it was for them to make those ugly clothes that they're selling to you for 100 times the price it took for them to make it, you guys would feel like idiots. I'm saying honestly. I have any idea how cheap it is to make that garbage?
Oh, most
but
definitely.
Nobody complains about the price.
Oh yes, they be like, I'm talking about like in them sweatshops where they got to make that stuff on pennies a day, and then they distribute it and sell it to the people for hundreds, sometimes thousands of dollars for a bag or some slides, a suit, maybe a brooch, a pin, some earrings, and whatever else, shoes that they sell inside of, you know, those stores. And it is what it is. But yeah, I don't own any really designer things. Honestly.
Okay, yeah. I'm laughing at what happens in the chat because our brother Nino said, kind of sort of dating one girl who does my hair, so she gets payments in other ways. LOL. And then he continues to say, I'm talking dates and dinners for nasty-minded people.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, okay, all right. You know, I'm sure she's happy with her payments. All right. He's supporting black businesses in a lot of ways. But yeah, you know what I'm saying? But I mean, we're sitting here and I don't have millions of dollars at all. I don't have $500,000. These brothers, to what I know, don't have $500,000. We don't have half of what they have, but yet we're doing more to help black people than they are. And they're the ones who are supposed to be doing things to help black people. I mean, that stuff just eats me up. But I'm glad that that's being exposed because, like I keep saying, the real ones will always stand the test of time. It won't take long for fake people to be exposed. I promise you it won't. Because you can't fake realness, because realness, being real, being B1, being a real B1 person is in your thoughts, your speech, and your actions. You can't fake thoughts, speech, and actions forever. You can speak it, but you can't fake all those three. Those three have to be genuine. If you don't genuinely have that, the truth will come out. The truth will come out. People have instincts. You can't get a dog to act like a cat and a cat to act like a dog for that long. Eventually the instincts will kick in. If you're not real, your fake instincts will expose you, just like Black Lives Matter, just like these founders, quote unquote. Eventually they will be outed. Okay, just like these fake activists, Tamika Mallory, what's his name, what's that dude, white dude's name is King something King.
Oh, little Talcum X.
Oh, Talcum X, yeah, exactly. And you know what the funniest thing is that people have argued for years if he was a black person. And I'm looking at him, I'm all like, is this like a very light-skinned biracial person? Because he kind of dresses like that with the way he has his hair and his facial hair and his low cut. I'm like, I don't know. Like he kind of like advertised himself like he's a light-skinned black dude. And I had to look. I'm like, dude, both his parents are white. If I'm a light-skinned black person, y'all have seen my parents. or some of you guys have. You know what I'm saying? You can clearly tell I'm a black person. If people question if I was black, I could show you my parents, and you be like, "Oh yeah, he's a black person." How have we not seen Sean King's parents if he was black, or even if he was biracial?
That's because he was born on the planet of Krypton.
He put a Rachel Dolezal or something.
I was gonna say the Rachel Dolezal transracial.
Nino says Sean King used to DM me on Twitter before it got exposed to the B1 community. That's interesting. That's interesting. Fakeness it won't last, and that's what I'm saying about Ketanji Brown Jackson.
Oh man,
fakeness will not last. It won't last. You guys will feel the same way you felt about Obama and Kamala Harris. All that ski. I don't see nobody ski win no more. I see people talking about, you know what? I kind of regret voting for Biden now. Really? Because y'all was saying that we was Trump supporters for saying don't vote for Biden. Now you guys see it. Russian bots. We're Russian bots.
Yeah, we're looking at you. Joy Saturn rings around the neck, Reed.
You guys will be saying the same thing about Ketanji Brown Jackson.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put a timer since she was confirmed today. From today all the way, I'm gonna put today. Give her a good 5 years. I want to just hear her say one pro-black or black first thing. One single thing advocating for black people.
Someone would take you up on that offer, and you would probably win. You know, that bet, honestly, and that's a shame. 5 years is a long time when you think about it. You know, you gotta think 5 years from now, that's 2027. A lot could happen in between that time.
Yeah, a lot. And she's gonna prove you guys wrong. I'm telling you. If y'all got to be following the people who really care about y'all. Because we say things and it sounds rough. I know it does, but we're saying it because we genuinely do care. Because we don't want y'all to be finessed.
Exactly. And the thing is, it's funny you said it, a lot of people get upset with you is because they're so used to us being in a very docile state. And the minute that we bark back and bark loudly at that and make our voices be known, then it's seen as an impeding threat on their existence. We're not threatening your existence. We're just telling you like it is. And some of you are literally living in La La Land. I actually posted that up as a tweet today, about her. I said it in my most sarcastic tone. I say, yay for symbolism. Ketanji Brown Jackson has been confirmed today. Can't you just feel the enthusiasm through your phone, through this tweet? And I was like, yeah, I said, I can't even pretend that I'm excited about this. Really? But I mean, I'll let people hang off of it for right now because, everybody needs their little moment. They had it with, Jim Crow Joe, and, that's faded into obscurity because believe it or not, I think it's a lot of black people who are literally giving up support when it comes to him. But I'm like, it's too little too late. Now the damage is already done. He's already in, and you can hope that he's probably a one-term president. He'll be out by 2024. But we shall see. We'll see how fed up you actually are when that time rolls around.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's like a news overseer under a new title. It really reminds me of the plantation when we had some freedom fighters, people trying to escape, but the other slaves that they celebrate and they don't want, they no, what are you doing? Everything's fine. And so that's the La La Land thing that kind of made me think of. They just too comfortable. Change is scary for some.
When people say representation matters, I agree. Representation does matter. It means a lot to people. It means a lot to everybody. And it should mean a lot to foundational Black Americans, okay? But representation, the people who are representing you should be the people who are looking out for you. I personally don't need to see a black face in the Supreme Court, or a black person to be the mayor, or a black person to be the president. My representation, if representation is somebody who's supposed to motivate you to be like, I want to be like that guy, I want to talk like that person, or I look up to her, I look up to him. We have enough black representation. Okay, we've already had our Malcolm X's and Dr. Kings and Fred Hamptons and our Marcus Garveys and our Dr. Claude Andersons and our Louis Farrakhan's and our Shahzad Ali's and our Betty Shabaz's and our Sojourner Truths and our Ida B. Wells and and our Harriet Tubmans. We've already had that. Our Coretta Scott Kings, our Dr. Francis Cress Welsing. We already have those. We already have and these are just off the top of my head, people who I can say we have enough representation. We don't need to, oh my God, the first black this, the first black this. The people I've just listed have accomplished more in their lifetime, genuinely accomplished more in their lifetime, that will age forever for black people than anybody else in these political positions will. Marion Barry. We want to talk about political representation. Let's talk about Marion Barry.
Yes. Definitely a hero to black people in the DMV area. They called him the mayor for life for a reason. It is a reason why people who did not experience him because they didn't live in the area, who knew about him when he passed, and why it was such a big deal when he passed, because of what he did for black people in DC in particular. Like I said before, and I'll say it here, Marion Barry is a reason why at one point DC was considered Chocolate City. Black people were thriving. Let me tell you, like, black people were thriving when he was mayor. You would have thought that the black people in DC during the time of his tenure were almost on par with a lot of the white people that lived in DC, and it wasn't that many. A lot of the white people at that time, before gentrification, which was, of course, now years ago, most of the white people lived in a place called Georgetown, which was, I believe, in Northwest DC. And that's where most of the white people were living at, and they literally lived in just that little enclave right there. Everywhere else, for the most part, was black, especially in Southeast. Now, Southeast is still kind of like, still majority black, but not compared to how it was at one point. And there was a place over there called Berry Farms that he basically had some apartment complexes over there for people who, I guess you can say, lived in like low income areas that he built, and he called it Berry Farms, which is named after him. Unfortunately, thanks to gentrification, Berry Farms is no longer there. And they're like now building a lot of those high-rise condos, because now they have the National Park Stadium, which is the baseball team. Then they got the soccer stadium right literally down the street. Like, they're literally, like, you could walk from one stadium to the next. They're that close to each other. So yeah, Marion Barry, like, long story short, he did a lot for the black residents of DC. That's why he kept getting reelected. And after that little scandal he had, he got back in again. That's why they wanted him out. When he said, "That bitch set me up," that was him, because he did get set up, and that was their way of trying to get him out. But the people was like, nah, we know he has some issues. It's other people who had issues too, but he had our back. Like, he literally did for the people, and they voted him back in. And the thing is, the only time Marion Barry got out of being mayor was when he couldn't run anymore. He literally exhausted all of his mayorship until they had to get a new mayor. Like, and that's pretty much how it was. And some people, some mayors, they'll step down. It could be for anything, or they'll die. This man died years after he couldn't be mayor anymore. He didn't die while he was mayor or soon after. He lived for quite a bit of time after that.
You know what? And salute to him. And a lot of black politicians need to be following his footsteps. Let me answer a question. Someone asks, have you heard what happened to Black Lives Matter under Joe Biden's Department of Justice? He threw them under the bus to save his son. Now their ability to fundraising of fundraising has been took. You know what? I am gonna look into the Hunter Biden thing. Hunter Biden is a damn delinquent, is a damn drug addict delinquent.
A base head, like for
Okay.
real.
Now
Every time.
I'm sorry, but that just makes me think of how Joe Biden was talking about locking black people up and they're criminals and it doesn't matter why they're bad, just throw them away anyway. He was giving those speeches in the 90s, and then his son became a damn druggie, and he's trying to keep that out of the media. That's interesting to me. You can go ahead, Torian.
And every time you see a picture of Hunter Biden, he always got some booger sugar under his nose. I'm like, every time you see a picture of him, he always looks like he's high as a kite. I can't think of one picture I've ever seen of Hunter Biden, even when he's not in a candid state, where he did not look like he did not just get done doing a couple of lines of coke. You remember that video that came out? I forgot when. It was recent. It may have been last year or the year before, when he was on I guess a virtual whatever. It was on Zoom or something like that. And someone was talking to him. He was in a dark room, but the light off of the laptop that he was using, you could see it. This guy literally got off screen or on screen and was literally snorting a line of coke on camera. And then have the nerve, with his dad to talk about, like, drugs and everything like that. I'm like, are you talking about your son? Because you helped lock up a lot of black people for the same thing your son is known to use. And then to top it all off, his son is so shady. Keep in mind, Hunter Biden is the same son and who slept with his dead brother's widow, literally right after he died, which leads me to believe he was sleeping with her while he was on his deathbed. Now, you can't get much more dirtier than that.
Yeah, that's just despicable. And my thing is this too. Notice how when it comes to black politicians, their entire family history damn near has to be on the up and up. If a black politician, especially somebody who's had such a long career as Joe Biden, if Joe Biden was black, there was no way Joe Biden would have reached the political landmarks that he's reached with his son being as bad as his son is. The media would have pointed out, well, Joe Biden, look at your son. You're clearly not a good man because you raised this terrible person. We're not going to allow you to achieve anything. But they allow Joe Biden to damn near to become literally the president of the United States of America. And his son is the definition of white trash. His son is like the definition of white trash. It's almost cartoonish how bad his damn son is. Like, the stories you're telling me is almost unrealistic. They would never have allowed a black politician to allow their son to do something like this. But the media hides Hunter Biden to cover up for his damn dad, Joe Biden. But Joe Biden gets to come up with crime bills to lock black people up for drugs that was planted in the community.
Yeah. White supremacists are hypocrites and liars, and that's the basis of their power system from the beginning, from these churches and everything from the start. So that's what they do, and they stay on code. They can get away with all kind of stuff, the P word, the R word, everything, drugging, robbing. They can do anything, but they'll turn around and punish us for it, even if it's not true.
Yeah, I'm gonna let you all get the last words, and then I'm gonna wrap it up. And a shout out to everybody in the chat. Shout out to both of you two. Shout out to everybody who's donated. I will go back and list the people who've supported, but I will let you all get the last word before I wrap it up.
All right, Afro. I appreciate you allowing me to come up and talk about these different topics. I know it most definitely won't be the last, because something else gonna pop off. I already know. It is only April. We are only in the second quarter of 2022. We got 2 more to go, and summer is right around the corner. And I always say this. I said it's about to be a long, hot summer. Who knows what is who know who knows what is about to pop off? I'm telling you, like this is only the beginning. This I realize this has been like the last couple of weeks has been very interesting to say the least. When it comes to the media and whatnot. But yeah, I definitely appreciate you bringing me up again. If I didn't say it before, I think I did, but I'll say it again. Congrats on the 1,000 subscribers. At this point, we'll be saying congrats on 2K soon. Definitely glad that you still have those spaces, and because those spaces are very productive. I like how they're conducted, and whenever we get a chance to contribute to those, I'm very appreciative that you uh, bring me on. Of course, my channel is open as long as if you ever need it. More so, preferably whenever I do the Freestyle Fridays at the end of the month, because that's how we do it over there. But with that being said, y'all have a good night, and I'm gonna talk to you all later.
Well, thank you, our brother Torian. Shout out to his super chat, by the way, and check out his content on YouTube. He has his own YouTube page, so if you guys just click his profile on the YouTube chat, you will go to his page, and then you guys can subscribe. He has multiple pages, but just subscribe to the one he's using now and the other one though. But definitely thank you for coming. Thank you for coming, brother, and thank you for the super chat.
Yeah, and good night, brother. But yeah, I want to say the same thing. I appreciate you letting me come up here, and I just want us all to just stay focused on our goal, our ultimate goal, no matter what distractions they try to throw at us. Also, let's stay watching them because they have tricks for days, for years, for centuries. So you gotta stay on top of that, and eventually, like get 10 steps ahead, and then just supersede them. I feel like that's gonna be the ultimate goal, and what end up happening. We're gonna supersede these white supremacists and white supremacy. But yeah, and you are like one of the building blocks, I feel, to that happening. So, because we
Thank
gotta
you.
have a revolution of the mind primarily, and like we were talking about the use of the money. It's about how you use it. You can have so much money, but a millionaire could be broke tomorrow, depending on how they use it and how we use every single dollar penny that we get for the black community can have a huge impact. A dollar can do so much in the right hands. So, um, and I feel like we need like our own like Walmarts and Targets and grocery stores. I wish I had a black owned grocery store to shop at here, but I don't. Um, but yeah, I just want us to be everybody here to stay on code and just stay focused. Thank you, appreciate it.
Well, thank you, brother. Rise up. Thank you for he donated on Cash App. Thank you for his Cash App donation. Absolutely, we're getting more on code right here. We've had a list of call to actions, things that we can do every single day. Every single day, you can support a black owned business, even if like let's say you can't financially do that. Every single day, you can at least shout one out. That's free. That is absolutely free. You can at least shout a one out every day. You can do that.
Yeah,
Okay. You
that's
can shout
free.
out some of to April is the new Black Media Appreciation Month. Shout out to the big three. You can shout them out. You can share some of their content. The other B1 media content. You can share that. Everybody can do something. Everybody can do something.
We have to be more frequent too. Like and I feel like we are becoming more frequent. Like somebody, like this how I view it. It's not Black History Month isn't in February. It's every month for me. I never stop celebrating it. I don't see anything else. So and supporting Black-owned businesses and celebrating our own media shouldn't be annual thing either. It should be monthly. It should be weekly. But I know it's a process, but yeah, I see an increase in over the years than where we were like 2 decades ago. So there's definitely progress. Yeah, thank you
Absolutely.
again for letting me come up. All
Well,
right.
thank you for joining. We
Yeah,
appreciated your voice, brother. Thank you very much. You have a
no
good night.
problem. Yeah.
I might be doing a Twitter space this weekend. I've been kind of busy. I wanted to do a Tuesday, but unfortunately Tuesday was too busy of a day for me. But shout out to there's so many people here. I hope I don't miss them all. Shout out to Torian. Shout out to Nino Black. Shout out to Kid Gravity. Shout out to um uh Rise Up. Shout out to let me see if I can list some. Shout out to Jazz. Shout out to songwriters. Shout out to Tell It Like It Is, and shout out to Tell It Like It Is for the super chat, for your super chat. Be one to you. Shout out to Samuel. What's your last name? Samuel Logan. Shout out to Samuel Logan for his super chat. Shout out to GK. Shout out to Big Red. Shout out to Ronnie. Shout out to Tyler. Let me post Samuel's super chat up here. TJ Titan, Jazz, Erica, our sister Tia. Let me see. Shout out to all of you all. Shout out to Harlem 9, our sister Harlem 9. Shout out to Croquette Head. Shout out to Vampire Hunter, Erica. Shout out to Do It Yourself Queen for your super chat. Shout out to Ebony May for her super chat. Shout out to RW. Shout out to Angus Merriweather. Shout out to Demon Arcade. Shout out to Marley K. Shout out to like I said again, Tell It Like It Is. Jazz Marquet. If I skip your name, I apologize. Claudia. Let me see down here. What's the name I haven't said yet? What's the name I have not said yet? Oh, Wander. I'm bad if I mispronounce your name. My sincerest apologies. Black Light Revolution. Shout out to him. He's one of our mods. Shout out to every single. I'm gonna be all day scrolling through all of these lists of people. Shout out to the people who shout out to Black Voltron. Black Voltron's in the house. Shout out to Comrade Mary. Shout out to every single last one of you. Shout out to Joyanne in the Cash App as well. A B1 salute to every single last one of you. If I miss your names, I will. Forgive me. I love you. I just didn't see it. Okay. Family, we are getting better. Okay. The real ones will always stand the test of time. They will be exposed because they cannot fake genuine, authentic credibility. They can't fake it. You can't fake it. You can't buy it. They can pretend that they have it, but then when the rubber meets the road and the car don't drive, you'll see that was a bad investment. But we know what it is. We know what it is. Shout out to every single last one of you all. I'm going to have to get off of here. It's been 2.5 hours, a little bit longer than I expected, but it's a great program. Follow me on Twitter because I might be doing a Twitter space this weekend. Sometimes I pop in and out of other people's Twitter spaces, which I speak on sometimes if I'm available to do so. So if you follow me on Twitter, follow me on Instagram too. I do have different polls and different questions that I like to share on my Instagram as well too. The link is in the description. But thank you all, family. We're getting better every day. We're weeding out the fake. We are weeding out the fake, and that's one of the biggest things that we have needed to do as a community to get on code. Okay. Angelica says, see you next time. Good night, everyone. Black, everybody. Don't forget to subscribe if you have not done so. Like and share also. But until then, I will catch you all later, family.